subscribe at KBLA 1580.
That's right.
Again, you can find all of our socials at KBLA 1580.
We've got a lot to talk about.
By the way, if you miss any of our weekday shows in real time, you can always catch up by checking out the podcast of your favorite shows at your leisure. At KBLA Talk 1580, we've got your black.
Follow the leader when the leader.
Oh my God.
Follow the leader. 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 Follow the leader.
J.R. Sean Kingston. You're way too beautiful, girl. That's why it'll never work. You have me suicidal. Suicidal when you say it's over. Damn, all these beautiful girls, they only wanna do you dirt. They'll have you suicidal. Suicidal when they say it's over. See, it started at the park. Used to chill after dark. Ooh, when you took my heart, that's when we fell apart. Cause we both thought that love lasts forever. Lasts forever. They say we too young to get ourselves sprung. Oh, we didn't care. We made it very clear. And they also said that we couldn't last together. Last together.
Welcome in. Happy Tuesday. You are locked into Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580. And LA, we are getting into it tonight because we're discussing who gets to tell their own story, who gets to define their boundaries, and if time permits, we'll get a little bit back into the Epstein files because Andy said I didn't give y'all quite enough yesterday, so we'll talk about it some more. All right. So tonight we're talking one woman is finally stepping out from behind a label that has been slapped on her since she was a child. We're going to be discussing the young lady that appeared in the infamous R. Kelly video. She has a memoir dropping next week, and so we're finally going to get to hear from her. And we're also discussing Keke Palmer. She's telling people exactly what type of relationship she's not going for in her adult life. I kind of see Keke's point. We are also, Andy's shaking his head. He's like, Jill, we're also going to get into, listen, there is a huge shakeup happening in the daytime talk show space. Some of your favorites will no longer be there come fall. So we're going to get into all of that. And then we're going to slow down the noise around the Epstein files, take a closer look, hit a couple of topics because the confusion is loud, but the facts still matter, right? So before we do all of that, we got a couple of conversation starters to get into. First of all, I want to send condolences and love and light to Corey Brodus. That is the daughter of Snoop Dogg. She is grieving an unimaginable loss right now. She and her fiance, Wayne Deuce, have lost their newborn daughter, Cody. She shared the news on social media, posting a black and white photo from a hospital setting, writing, "This was Monday. I lost the love of my life, my Cody." And she said days later, still processing the loss. She added another raw message. 20 days later, dog, I'm sick. Her daughter was in the NICU for a very, very long time. And she finally brought her home about a month ago. And so they ended up losing her. So I want to send condolences, lots of love and light to them and their entire family. Now, listen. We are days away from the Super Bowl, and according to a poll that was conducted, nearly half of the NFL players surveyed disapprove of Bad Bunny being chosen as this year's halftime performer. One player saying, now this is going to kind of showcase the NFL's intelligence levels, but whatever. One player said the slot should go to an American artist. Bad Bunny's Puerto Rican from the island of Puerto Rico, which is what? a U.S. territory, right? But yeah, they're just saying they would prefer to see someone else. Some of them are excited about it, but the NFL is framing itself as a global entity. They are probably going to be expanding into Europe soon. So, I mean, it is what it is. And it's kind of on par with the times to kind of, stand out given what is currently going on in America. Moments like this reveal who still gets treated like an outsider on big stages. Bad Bunny is like the biggest artist in the world right now. Andy?
This Bad Bunny discussion, I feel like it's tired, and I feel like it's weak. There's so many issues going around the world, and we worried about a 15 maybe minute performance.
Right.
Like, can we talk about the game? I mean, I understand people, we're not really rocking with the Seahawks or the Patriots, you know what I'm saying, like that. But really, the talk of the town is Bad Bunny in a 15-minute performance? Bro, if you're not feeling the performance, just change the channel, homie. It's that simple. And get back to the game.
I agree. It's
dumb.
The halftime show. Hence, you don't got to look at it. You could go get a snack. You can go to the restroom. You can charge your phone. What?
Would y'all be happy if Jelly Roll was performing? Trace Adkins?
Here's the thing. It doesn't have to be an urban artist. People are crazy if they feel like, yeah, it should be a black artist, hip hop artist every Super Bowl. It's ridiculous. It's never going to happen, right? I just want to make sure that I see a good show. I want to be entertained.
I'm with you 100%.
So, and if I don't like it, there are other things that I can clearly be doing.
Exactly.
During that time. So, listen, when we come forward, we're going to get into all of these trending topics and headlines. You're locked in with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
You ride with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
Are you drowning in IRS tax debt? Angela was. She called Civic Tax Relief and saved over $80,000. Felicia was having health problems, got behind on her taxes, interest and penalties were adding up. She called Civic Tax Relief and saved over $15,000. Civic Tax Relief is a professional tax negotiation firm that can protect you from the IRS. If you're getting collection letters, call Civic Tax Relief for a free consultation. They will go to work helping you discover all the relief programs you may qualify for free. James owed the IRS $37,000. Civic Tax Relief represented him against the IRS, and by the time everything was completed, he did not owe the IRS anything. If you are in trouble with the IRS, call Civic Tax Relief for your free consultation now. 800-200-2257. 800-200-2257. Get a free consultation and real tax relief. Call 800-200-2257. 800-200-2257.
What's up? What's up?
What's up? You got to laugh the pain away.
Hey, KBLA delegation, happy Black History Month. Around here, we celebrate our culture, our community, and our contributions daily. But this year, as we observe the 100th anniversary of Black History Month celebrations, we're excited about our annual KBLA Talk 1580 Black History Month Luncheon, honoring comedy greats. On Thursday, February 26th at the Grammy Museum in downtown LA, we're toasting D.L. Hughley, Melanie Camacho, Earthquake, Munell, Dion Cole, and Martin Lawrence with a surprise guest appearance. A limited number of individual tickets for the luncheon remain, so now would be a good time to head to KBLA1580.com to secure one for yourself. That's KBLA1580.com. A little laughter goes a long way, especially in times like these. So come, join us for our annual KBLA Talk 1580 Black History Month Luncheon, Thursday, February 26th at the Grammy Museum. Again, tickets are available right now at KBLA1580.com.
Well, I hang around my boy. He's been married for 6 years. Videotaping his wedding day, never watched it. Now and every day he watch it every day, but he watch it in reverse. Because he said he loves seeing himself take that ring back off of that finger. Walking back down that aisle, just waving at her ugly mother down the church. Getting back in the limo, back at the bachelor party. Look how happy I was.
Honoring excellence, resilience, and achievement, we're at KBLA Talk 1580.
Now back to more entertainment news with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
Welcome back in. You're locked in with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580. First up, I forgot to send birthday blessings out to Sean Kingston, the young criminal. Andy said that. Look, why throwing you under the bus, Andy? Happy birthday. I hope you were peaceful and reforming your attitude and mindset while you were locked down. Big ups to you. All right, listen. You know how this goes down, or maybe you're new here. If not, or if so, that's a better way to say it. 800-920-1580. That's the number that you can dial to get in on the conversation. You can also hit us up on social media, KBLA 1580. I'm personally at Stiletto Jill everywhere. You can download our app or get the visual to go along with the audio experience. Hop in the YouTube chat. Shout out to our VIPs. That's our community. They are always chatting, and we appreciate the conversation that goes on there. So, all right. R. Kelly, still a very controversial figure, still very polarizing when it comes to discussions around R. Kelly. What I have found over the past few years, there seems to be not as much shall we say, animosity towards him as the years have gone on. And people are really, what's that, Andy?
No, go ahead, continue.
I was just saying, they are really looking forward to new music from him, hoping, people, if you see like on social media posts or things like that, people are like, what? If R. Kelly got out tomorrow and said he was doing a concert, I'm there.
Wow.
And, when he jumped on the Residuals Challenge, and that was doing numbers as well. So R. Kelly still has an audience, right? But in this, we know after Aaliyah, I don't know which one lives in more infamy, the tape or his relationship with Aaliyah, right? They're both up there. Well, the woman once known only as Jane Doe in the notorious R. Kelly video that circulated circa 2002 is finally stepping out of the shadows, and she has a new memoir dropping, Who's Watching Shorty, and she's pulling no punches about the abuse that she survived. She's now 41 years old. Her name is Reshona Landfair, and she reveals how she went from a 14-year-old girl featured in the infamous tape to a woman determined to reclaim her name and the narrative surrounding her. For decades, she hid behind aliases like Sean, afraid of rejection and the recognition and all of the things that would come with being the person in that video, right? She describes how Kelly groomed her as a child by inserting himself into her family's life, giving gifts and positioning himself as a father figure. She alleges the manipulation and control went far deeper, saying that he insisted she call him daddy, and that experience left her feeling trapped and isolated. She also speaks to the emotional toll of being associated with the scandal long after his music and name loomed over her life. She said, "It's everywhere I go." And recounting how the soundtrack of his songs greeted her even at her job. She said it's a grim reminder of her past that she had no choice but to confront. So she wrote that Kelly knowingly victimized her as a child and that she became suicidal from the cycle of abuse, control, and shame. Right? Well, she did an interview recently to kick off the release of the book, and we're going to hear a little bit from her mouth how she navigated that situation. Yeah.
Say your aunt told you the next time we're at the studio, you should ask Robert to be your godfather.
Her aunt is Sparkle, the artist.
Sparkle explained that I should sit on his lap and rub his head while I asked him to be my godfather.
That is the start of him entering into my life in a different way than just being an artist or hanging out at the studio. It became more personable at that moment.
Kelly agreed to be her godfather, but soon after, when she was around 13, Landfair says he began grooming her.
Your 17th birthday, you say, Robert told me the copies of one of the sex tapes of 14-year-old me were beginning to be sold on the streets of Chicago and across the country.
I was empty. I was very hollow inside. I was very confused.
According to Landfair, after the 2001 leaked tape, Kelly told her parents that he was in love with their daughter.
It was very complicated. My dad wanted to make the right decision, and he was okay with anything that took place. I was more under Robert's brainwash. He utilized me against my parents, making threats of suicide and doing different things out of desperation to convince them to not turn on him.
Landfair would later say she lied to a grand jury when she testified that the young girl on the sex tape was not her.
Why not tell the truth when there was finally a trial after 6 years?
That's one of my biggest regrets, not telling the truth.
But the 2019 Lifetime docuseries, Surviving R. Kelly, changed everything.
The spirit of conviction came over me during that moment.
Because of that docuseries?
Yes. During the time, I thought maybe these were just sexual fetishes that he had with me. Maybe this was just abuse I was going through. But when I saw that he was allowed to hurt so many people because I lied, that did not sit well with me as an adult.
So there was a lot there. One, I am sending lots of healing energy to her. It takes a lot to come out and face that after years and years and years of conversation back and forth. I'm sure it's very complicated because, as been discussed previously and in this interview, her family was very intertwined in it. Her father worked for R. Kelly, I believe, up until 2018, 2019. Sparkle, who was R. Kelly's artist, is her aunt. That is who she was saying encouraged her to tell R. Kelly that she wanted him to be her godfather and to sit on his lap and rub his head. Sparkle has since responded to those statements, and she is saying that there is no way that she facilitated R. Kelly preying on her. She says that, I am relieved that Reshona is finally free to speak her truth and begin her healing journey. In addition to justice, I have always wanted healing and peace for her. I do need to be clear about one thing. Any suggestion that I groomed, facilitated, or enabled harm to my niece is untrue and deeply painful, especially given my undocumented actions at the time and throughout. When I was informed her parents were allowing Reshona to spend unchaperoned time with R. Kelly, I immediately contacted DCFS. When the tape surfaced and the tape brought charges against him in 2008, I cooperated fully and testified under oath, despite immense pressure not to do so. I did this because protecting my niece from abuse and telling the truth mattered more to me than money and my career. This is the beginning of Reshona's lengthy deprogramming journey. It is true that she is a survivor of years of abuse, still learning to process what happened to her and who is responsible. It is also true and well documented that I stood up for her to try and stop the damage being done to her and countless others. I wish her continued healing and peace as she continues to not only find her voice, but hopefully require accountability from those closest to her. So I'm not sure if Sparkle is related to her father or her mother. There are also some things that, from other victims' accounts, they have pointed to Reshona as someone who groomed them. So I think it's a very complicated situation all the way around. We know many times victims, whether we're talking physical child abuse or this type of abuse, go on to become victimizers. So I just wish her healing on her journey. I'm sure we'll be getting more clips, more interviews, more insight into her thought process. But it did seem really emotional. That was a lot right there. So, sending prayers. Morris Phillips in the chat says, the spirit of R. Kelly is found in the Epstein files and records, sexual criminality and perversions. Well, we're going to talk a little bit about that. Morris Phillips also says, R. Kelly is a darn pervert, but the boy got talent, and no doubt about that. His voice and music are off the hook. It is true. And his gifts are why he coasted for so long, right? With that, I think it's a complicated thing. I know many people have, boycott his music, give up his music altogether because that music can still make him money. And the way that he was able to loop his victims in is via money, right? While the other side looks at it as, hey, I already purchased this stuff. This music represents my memories, not what was going on with him. And so sorry for those victims, but that has nothing to do with me when it's Saturday morning and I want to clean, So what is apparent is he still does have a large fan base, both men and women, lest you think that it's one-sided. It is not. And we will see what develops. But again, I wish her prayers on her healing journey. I hope that she can come to terms with her family members that she may have felt betrayed by. And, they have some real healing conversations. All right, hard pivot. Listen, is daytime TV, the daytime talk show, is it still needed in the era of a podcast? Well, I think we're on our way to finding out, because several of someone's favorites, obviously not the mass majority as they're being canceled, of your favorite daytime TV shows are being taken off the block. Now, previously announced was Kelly Clarkson's show, after 7 seasons, is hitting the road. Kelly made the announcement. It has been talked about that she was antsy, ready to, stretch her creativity in other areas, and she made the announcement, right? We've also just discovered that after 4 seasons, Sherri Shepherd's show is being canceled as well. And rumor has it that this will be the final season of Jennifer Hudson's show too, also at 4 seasons, right? It's not industry chatter. Most of it is confirmed, but the volume of shows, talk shows, a specific format at one moment being canceled kind of says something. Now listen, Lonnie Love, who used to be co-host with Sherri Shepherd on The View, she had an issue with the way Sherri's show was announced. She pointed to the fact that Kelly Clarkson was given the grace to announce her show leaving on her own, but that same respect wasn't given to Sherri Shepherd. She wants to know why. She says it was disrespectful, but here we are. I just think that it is kind of hard for daytime TV to keep up with the podcast, unfiltered conversation, no big commercial blocks, and sort of the freedom that world reminds us. Also, besides the obvious, people aren't really watching TV in the same way that they used to. Let's see. The chat is chatting here. I just lost it. Okay. Jill doesn't. Oh, I do curse. I just do not curse on air. I'm very cautious of FCC violations, but I like a good profanity. I like a sprinkle of profanity as an exclamation point. I'm not sure what made you bring that up, though, but shout out to that. So listen, as I said, in this current era where we can get the conversation that we want, so to speak, on demand, make sure you're tapping in here promptly. But I don't know if an appointment time talk show that doesn't also have, I know that they put out clips, but a solid video component is the same thing. And also, no shade, no tea, because Tamron Hall is still pushing ahead. But were these shows really drawing the audience in? Were, they may have covered the topics, but were they being discussed in a way the audience wants to have the conversation?
Look, I don't think I'm a part of that audience, but I just feel like these are all Oprah babies, and they all kind of seem the same. I don't think there's any difference, except for like a show like The View. You got like, 4 or 5 people on a panel?
But even that is, I just think that, The View has the advantage of, they talk some political topics, even though that is said to be softening because of, the current administration. But we'll have to see. I don't know. But, shouts out to them. I appreciate everything that each one of them individually brought to the space. And we know that they will be around somewhere again. And, make sure that you guys support the things that you love. Okay? That's the bottom line, too. Because if you say, oh, I love that, but you aren't tapping in, then you're really doing your favorites a disservice. When we come forward, we're going to get into Keke Palmer rejecting cohabitation standards, plus more trending topics and headlines, and the Epstein files, of course. You're locked in with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
'Cause somebody might do it to you. Now who was there for you when your ass was out of work?
You're in the know with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Amber Payton with BIN News Now. There's still no acting mayor in South Suburban Harvey, Illinois after the death of Black Mayor Christopher Clark.
The mayor of the city, Harvey, is a part-time position.
A special city council meeting failed to produce a winner, leaving alderperson Shirley Drewinski serving as mayor pro tem until another vote is scheduled. Journalist Don Lemon says his recent arrest was meant to embarrass him. The former CNN anchor told Jimmy Kimmel Live that federal agents detained him after he covered protesters who disrupted a church service in St. Paul. Lemon says his lawyer tried to argue a voluntary surrender but never heard back. And Black Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass used her State of the City address to spotlight major events like the World Cup and Olympics while calling for unity in the city. She also said rebuilding in Pacific Palisades has been fast-tracked after last year's wildfire, even as critics accuse her of being unprepared and slow to help residents recover. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Santa Clarita, 14 northbound. It's slow in stretches, leaving the 5 all the way to Soledad Canyon Road. It's tough on the 405 northbound in West LA from the 10 all the way to the 5 merge into Sylmar. Let's look at the 5 northbound. That's loading up in Boyle Heights from the 60. Looking heavy ahead all the way to Olive in Burbank. And the drive is still tough in Anaheim, eastbound side of the 91 from Kramer Glacel heading to Green River.
The Crohn's and Colitis Foundation has been at the forefront of inflammatory bowel disease research and care for over 50 years. Learn more about research, education, and support at Crohn'sColitisFoundation.org.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
In perhaps the most surprising development in the NBA this season, the Clippers have traded 11-time All-Star James Harden to the Cleveland Cavaliers. In exchange for Harden, the Clippers get 26-year-old point guard Darius Garland, a 2-time All-Star averaging 18 points per game. Garland's health is an issue at the moment. He's been out since January 19th with an ankle injury. The 36-year-old Harden was with the Clippers for 2.5 seasons. He's one of only 4 players in the NBA this season averaging at least 25 points and 8 assists per game. There were expectations that Harden, an LA native, would end his career in his hometown. The 16-year veteran has now been traded 5 times. The question that needs to be answered: did Harden ask to be traded, or did the Clippers approach him and tell him it's time to move on? Much more on this trade in tomorrow's Sports Minutes. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. More news, opinions, and conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
Follow the leader. KBLA Talk 1580. Follow the leader.
If you're not following KBLA Talk 1580 on all of our socials, then you're missing out. Download our app and find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and on the web at KBLA 1580.
That's right.
Again, you can find all of our socials at KBLA 1580.
We've got a lot to talk about.
By the way, if you miss any of our weekday shows in real time, you can always catch up by checking out the podcast of your favorite shows at your leisure. At KBLA Talk 1580, we've got your black.
Follow the leader. Following the leader. Oh my God. Follow the leader. Follow the leader. Follow the leader. Follow the leader. Follow the leader.
USC Visions and Voices invites you to the LA premiere of Major, an exciting new dance theater performance exploring the legacy of Major at dance. Directed by award-winning choreographer Ogemdi Ude, Major combines music and movement to explore what it means to be proudly Black and proudly femme. Join us on Wednesday, February 4th at USC's Bovard Auditorium. Reserve your free ticket now at visionsandvoices.usc.edu. That's visionsandvoices.usc.edu.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. Worried about eviction? You have rights, and Stay Housed LA can help. Stay Housed LA is a partnership between LA County, the City of Los Angeles, and local service providers. From Lancaster to Long Beach, we're here to help you with tenant education workshops, legal clinics, free legal services for eligible tenants, and online resources about tenant protection laws. Don't face eviction alone. Call our hotline at 1-888-694-0040. That's 1-888-694-0040. Or visit stayhousedla.org. Stay Housed LA, keeping Los Angeles residents in their homes. Stay Housed LA, your rights, your home, our community. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
The California Crusader newspaper would like to thank all of our subscribers for their support throughout the years, proudly serving the South Los Angeles and South Bay areas for more than 40 years. The California Crusader is a multicultural, Black-owned, adjudicated newspaper that focuses on providing newsworthy information to the people in our community. We're constantly looking for ways to assist businesses in our community to connect with our subscribers. We provide low-cost, effective ways to promote your business with our reasonable and affordable advertising rates. You can participate by suggesting, sharing, and submitting your stories on the California Crusader newspaper Community Share Facebook group page, or visit our website at cal-cruise-news.com. That's calcruisenews.com. Then click on the Submit Now button located on the top right corner of the homepage, or text CCN to 42828. Again, text CCN to 42828. The California Crusader newspaper, working together to build a better community for our future. Subscribe today.
You're listening to Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
Welcome back in. You're locked in with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580. shouts out to Andy for reminding me that there was a Versus over the weekend. Mike Will made it and Hit Boy. Nobody really checked it out. But he said Mike Will destroyed Hit Boy. This is one of Mike Will's cuts. And remember, I still talk about bangers with Miley Cyrus and on and on and on. Mike Will has some hits. Hit Boy does too.
Jill?
Yes.
I was expecting Hit Boy
to run away with it because he got Beyonce and all the big ones. Yeah.
I don't know if I was necessarily expecting him to run away with it. I just forgot how many bangers Mike Will got. And I swear every song that he dropped, it felt like it was a turn up.
Sequencing. He had the right sequencing.
He had the right sequencing, and it was disappointing because Hit Boy, I felt like he played a lot of records that he personally enjoyed. I don't think he was considering the crowd. And it was two different vibes, you know, like, and that's not to say that a lot of the Hit Boy songs that he played were garbage. These are songs that you probably would listen to while you're cleaning up, while you're driving or whatnot. But Mike Will, if you're at the club, you at a bar, you at a kickback, you at a backyard boogie, you're going to enjoy every record that Mike Will put on. So
because he thought about it. He thought about how to sequence that.
He definitely did. I mean, he basically turned L.A. into Atlanta. I'll tell you that.
I know that's right. All right, listen, welcome back into KBLA Talk 1580 with Jill Munroe. All right, first off, shout out to the chat because the chatters are chatting. They want me to discuss a little bit that James Harden is being traded for, they're saying the 7th time, to the Cleveland Cavaliers from the Los Angeles Clippers. You're giving horns for that.
Yeah, smart man.
All right.
Just like DeMarcus Lawrence. When he left the Cowboys to go to the Seattle Seahawks, he made a statement that he would never win a Super Bowl in Dallas. And I think James Harden had some clear vision and realized that he's not going to win a championship with the Clippers. Smart man, James Harden.
Well, see you, James. And, you know, if the rumors are true, like they're starting to say some rumors that, you know, at the end of this season, this will be LeBron's last season in L.A., maybe we'll see a LeBron and James Harden. I don't know. Because where would LeBron go if he left L.A.? There's lots of places, but really, where would he go?
I still say he should go to New York. Go to the Mecca, man. Not Brooklyn. Go to the Knicks. That'd be a good look for him.
Well, we'll have to see. All right, listen. You guys wanted to dive a little bit more into the release of the 3 million pages of information, misinformation, redacted, not redacted, victims exposed, criminals hidden. What I will say is that, one, I am disappointed that the majority of the conversation, like I said, has been around, ooh, Michael Jackson was in these things. Ooh, this person, like, let's get to the real stuff, right? Some of the real things that were said. One, I want to know, how curious are you? Are you seeking to go look at the documents yourself? Or are you just listening to what people have to say and what they offer? That's the first thing. The second thing is, now that we have all of this information, keeping in mind some of this is unverified, unvetted from tip lines, not everything is a charge. Some of them are emails. Some of them are, you know, just random connections, right? What is next? What do we want to see happen? Are we going to rally up against any of the individuals that were mentioned? Or is it just to satiate our curiosity and say, I knew those MFers were evil? I mean, really, what happens next? That's my question. Forrest Harrison says, Trump had me cracking up today. He said Bill Clinton and other people are in there, but I'm not in there. He did say that. And it's just like, dog, you're not in there because, yeah. How seriously do you take the information that was released because of the fact that there are some omissions, some things, some trickery, the fact that it was 30 days past when it was supposed to be due. What are the thoughts and feelings around that? Morris Phillips says, the real stuff, follow the money, the financial transactions, and blackmail. Money trails usually do reveal things, you know. Russell Wilson's name was thrown out in there because at one point he was looking to buy a private plane and Epstein was selling one. But I don't believe they had ever met in person beyond potentially email exchanges for that. But his name was put out there. I know Eminem's name was put out there as well for some things. I just want to know, you know, do we just want names and blood, especially if people we don't like Jay-Z? Or do we want the truth and to hold these individuals that are in political spaces supposedly speaking for us and looking out for our best interests to be held to the fire? Or do we just want to know what's going on in our neighbor's backyard? That's the question. All right, so enough on that. You guys share your thoughts. Hit me up on social media. Leave a comment or two. But let's get into a little bit about Keke Palmer, because I think this is interesting. We've talked about this before. Sherri Ralph is an individual who is married, but she and her husband keep separate residences. And Keke Palmer is clear about one thing. She's not interested in sharing her home with a romantic partner. During a February 2nd interview on the Today Show, the 32-year-old actress said, I never want to live together. I like my alone time. Me too, girl. Me too. Right? She added that Whoopi Goldberg said it best. I don't want nobody in my house. When we come forward, we'll listen to exactly what Keke had to say, and then we'll discuss. You're locked in with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
Are you ready for the hottest entertainment scoop in Los Angeles? She's bringing you exclusive interviews with today's biggest stars, behind-the-scenes Hollywood insights, and all the entertainment news you need to know. She's breaking down what's trending, what's ending, and what's just beginning in the world of entertainment. You're riding with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
February 4th is Transit Equity Day. To mark the occasion, Metro is offering free rides all day on the 4th. Providing safe, accessible, and affordable transportation is a commitment Metro makes year-round. Learn more at thesource.metro.net. LADWP customers get rebates up to $4,000 when you buy a used electric or hybrid vehicle. Installing an EV charger at your home? Get a rebate for that too. Up to $1,500. Visit ladwp.com/EV today and start saving. That's ladwp.com/EV.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. The Los Angeles Regional Food Bank is on a mission to fight hunger and provide nutritious food to those in need across our community. They partner with federal, state, and local programs advocating for better policies and funding for critical hunger relief programs like Cal Fresh, the Emergency Food Assistance Program, and the Child and Adult Care Food Program. The food bank works with coalitions and local representatives to make sure hunger is addressed in every district of LA County. They also run nutrition education campaigns, raise hunger awareness, and source nutritious food for distribution, all while supporting regulations that allow food pantries to operate safely. Want to help? Visit lafoodbank.org or call 323-234-3030 to volunteer or find a food bank near you. Together, we can ensure that no one goes hungry in Los Angeles County. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
As we go a little something like this.
Hey, it is me, D.L. Hughley, and I am thrilled to be heard weekdays in my hometown on KBLA Talk 1580. So check out the D.L. Hughley Afternoon Show weekdays from 2 to 4 p.m. exclusively on KBLA Talk 1580. We got a whole lot to talk about, let me tell you.
That's for the real. This is KBLA Talk 1580. Talk radio. That's music to your ears. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. You're listening to Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
Welcome back. You're locked in with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580. All right, before we play this Keke Palmer clip, we got a couple of more comments in the chat. Maurice Geis says they're playing in our face with all of this Trump trash. Lock him up. Truemonger says black folks are going to learn that mingling with those folks will cost. Royale Jenkins says, I think the big boys are going after Jay-Z, putting his name out there. I mean, it's possible, but I really feel like it's more social media wanting Jay-Z to have his downfall. I cannot count the number of times I've seen that in the comments section. Like, I know Jay-Z is dirty. I know he's all up in this. Or I know Jay-Z's downfall is coming. I know he's done some horrible, terrible things. Morris Phillips adds, Jill, the answer to your question, where do we go from here? We'll have to wait for a new administration. Everybody in the current administration is guilty as sin. Well, the midterm elections are coming up. We might be able to, start imparting some change. I personally think they're concerned about the midterms. That's why they're in little panic modes with some of this stuff. But we shall see. We shall see. I mean, that is a great point. Where do we go from here? Vote to get some of these mofos out of office, right? Jay-Z, Pusha T, Michael Jackson, God bless the dead. None of these people serve in public office. And no matter how you feel about them, they are not tasked with being the proxy representative for us and the best things that we need in order to thrive as a society. So I am not saying to overlook should some hard evidence or something real formulate against these individuals. But the amount of time we spend looking for something with them instead of focusing on what's right in our faces in plain sight, it just kind of, it's a little disturbing. Tad, I mean, I believe we can walk and chew bubble gum. However, make sure you're blowing the bubbles to get the best out of that bubble gum. All right, so let's get into this Keke Palmer clip. Keke says, even if I get married, we not living together.
Hey, Keke, yeah, do you want the steak? Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
And so do you want kids?
I could be open, but one thing I need you to know is that I never want to live together.
They're role playing.
You're so quick. Should I take it personally?
I just feel like, Whoopi Goldberg said it best once. She was like, I don't want nobody in my house.
Yeah.
Wait.
Time out. You're for real right now?
She's for real. So marry even.
So he's gonna live around the corner?
Around the corner would be great.
What about a guest house? Would you let him live in the guest house?
He can be in a guest house. You know what I'm saying? We can be on the same, land, but I'm over there and he's over there.
Yeah.
At best, separate rooms.
Okay.
So what about, you go to the bathroom, you have the 2 toothbrushes?
No, so he can mess my bathroom.
Is that your hot take?
But think about how fun it would be to be like, I'm going over to my man's house.
Yeah.
Over there.
You know what? It keeps things right.
It's fun and exciting. I want to go sit on his couch.
And he better clean when you're coming over.
That's what I'm.
So listen. One, Jeannie Buss and Jay Moore, they have a similar setup. They live in the same building. He's 1 floor below her. They have condos. They come over and watch movies, get on the couch, spend the night sometimes, but then they go home and they're married, right? I mentioned Shirley Ralph and her husband. We know a lot of people, when they get in their elder years of their marriage, decide for separate bedrooms. Sometimes that's just simply, for comfort's sake. You get older and you don't want to share the space. One person might stay up late and want to watch TV or scroll through their phone, things like that. I can say that to a degree, I get it. I low-key get it, right? To a degree. Morris Phillips says, I understand this crazy woman. Some people need their space. I understand, like, I'm going to be real. I can kind of see the separate houses situation. However, that is not a situation for the insecure, because somebody is going to be way too concerned about what somebody else is doing at their home should they not be able to reach them one night. That could cause problems, that type of toxic situation that goes on for some. And also, right, it could be a good way to drift apart, stating the most obvious. But, I mean, I'm kind of I get it. I get it to a degree. Andy, what are you thinking about? You look like you're pondering.
Sounds like Keke's still trying to play.
I don't even think it's that. I think sometimes, right? Well, with Keke, it could be, and I'm throwing something on her, just throwing this out there, not saying it is. She just got out of a rough relationship with her child's father. So
there we go.
This could be a reactive response to that. But Sherri, Ralph, and Jeannie Buss are women of a certain age that have been doing this for a very, very long time. Remember, Jeannie and Phil Jackson spent a great deal of their relationship apart. Their relationship started when Phil was coaching the Knicks. Or no, it continued when he was coaching the Knicks, but I think that's actually what broke them up. However, like, even the separate bedroom thing, I kind of get, just for the reasons like I said. If you are someone that likes it hot, right, and your mate wants the cool side of the pillow, that could be an issue at night. Or if you like to stay up late and they want to go to bed at 9 watching TV and you want to scroll your phone and da-da-da-da, sometimes that gets tricky.
Y'all not meant for each other then.
I don't think so.
Where's the compromise? The compromise is separate rooms?
Yeah. We love each other. Sometimes we'll spend the night together, but, sometimes, like, what about when men get older and want to scratch and do things that are inappropriate?
You should love me scratching.
Maybe, but I may not want to sleep next to it. I don't know.
And then we not meant to be together then.
Curtis Shaw says, what about married couples who don't sleep? That's what I'm saying. I think that at a certain point, it might be okay. Like, as long as you have healthy connections and you both talk about it and understand. Now, the separate residences, that might be pushing it for some. Even though I completely understand that too. I think that's a hard one, because I think that there's a connection that over time could be missing. And like I said, one person might not be with it, and then you show up one night with your wine and trying to get a snuggle, and somebody's already snuggling in your bed, like a Drew Hill video. Fahima says, absence makes the heart grow fonder. It does. And listen, Shannon Thompson says, I'm all for it. Urban Spencer says, I don't think I would get married in the first place if I'm living in a separate house. He can just be my gentleman friend. I mean, there's that too. Maurice says peace can be disturbed in a 24/7 situation. 100%. That's why I'm saying I understand some space with some boundaries, but I do know that it can cause connections issues for some and allow the space that some who may not have the same amount of self-control as others to slip up and get caught up in some things.
Outside of Keke Palmer, who are the other examples you use?
Sherri Ralph, who's been married for a number of years.
And Jeannie Buss.
Yeah. There's more. Those are just the ones I
find that just a tad bit interesting.
Why?
All women. I don't hear men talking like that. If they are,
they're married to men who are in the situation.
But I also don't hear men like just out and about. I don't hear Usher talking about separate rooms, or I don't hear Tyrese or Cam Newton or any males.
I think it's easier for women to have that conversation than men.
And why is that?
Because if a man says it, people are assuming he's signaling he's available. If a woman says it, she is just,
she's
taking advantage of options.
She's still trying to play.
Why? I don't necessarily think so. Forrest Harrison says, all our kids moved out so me and my wife can have our bedroom and I can have a man cave and she has a girl cave. Does she ever sleep in her girl cave, or do you ever sleep in your man cave? Because that's kind of the same thing. I just understand the need of having personal space. You know, I know that there's some couples that are all my man, my man, my man, my girl, my girl, my girl, and you don't see one without the other. Me personally, if you like it, I love it. But I do think it's healthy sometimes to have boundaries. And I know that we're talking a very extreme version of this.
Yeah.
But I do understand maybe the need for space at times. So we'll have to see. Listen, thank you guys for locking in as you do each and every Monday through Thursday from 6 to 7. It's just facts, culture, and context that you come here for. And I appreciate it. Coming up next is Zoe Williams, the voice of reason. I'll be back tomorrow for All Up in the Business Wednesdays.